Hey friends, welcome back to Stoic Quotes 365. Let's start with a question. Have you ever felt like someone in your life isn't what they seem? Maybe it's a friend, a colleague, or even a loved one. On the surface, they appear kind, supportive, and trustworthy. But deep down, something feels off. You can't quite put your finger on it, but their actions never seem to match their words. They say one thing but do another, leaving you feeling confused, hurt, or even manipulated. If you've ever been in that situation, you're not alone. The truth is, there are people out there who thrive on manipulation, deceit, and control. And what's even scarier, they're often so good at hiding their true nature that you don't realize the damage they're doing until it's too late. But don't worry. That's exactly why you're here. Today, we're uncovering the 10 evident signs that there's an evil person next to you. By the end of this video, you'll not only know how to recognize these behaviors, but you'll also understand how to protect your peace and reclaim your power, all through the timeless wisdom of Stoic philosophy. Let me be clear, this isn't about labeling everyone who makes a mistake as evil. We all have flaws, and no one is perfect. But there are certain patterns of behavior that go beyond ordinary human imperfection. These are the traits of people who intentionally hurt others, who manipulate without remorse, and who leave destruction in their wake. And here's the tricky part. These individuals are often experts at hiding their true intentions. They wear masks of charm and charisma, convincing everyone around them that they're the good guy. But behind closed doors, their actions tell a very different story. So how do you spot them? How do you protect yourself from the harm they can cause? That's exactly what we're exploring today. From constant manipulation to a lack of empathy, from lies without conscience to the hunger for control. We'll break down each sign in detail. And as we go, I'll share insights from Stoic philosophy to help you stay grounded, even when faced with these challenges. But before we dive in, take a moment to reflect. Has there ever been someone in your life who left you questioning your own instincts, doubting your worth, or feeling like you could never do enough? If so, you already know how draining and painful it can be to deal with a person like this. That's why it's so important to recognize the signs early, to trust your intuition, and to take action to protect your emotional and mental well-being. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, once said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." And when you're constantly exposed to someone toxic, it's easy for their negativity to seep into your own thoughts, your own soul. That's why it's crucial to identify these behaviors and set boundaries before they take root. This video isn't just about identifying others. It's also about empowering yourself. It's about knowing that you have the strength to walk away from what doesn't serve you, to protect your energy, and to cultivate relationships that uplift rather than drain you. So stick with me, because what you're about to learn could change the way you see the people around you, and more importantly, the way you see yourself. By the end of this journey, you'll have the clarity and confidence to navigate even the most difficult relationships with wisdom, resilience, and grace. All right, friends, let's get started. Number 1, constant manipulation. Let's talk about the first and one of the clearest signs of an evil person: constant manipulation. Now, you might be thinking, manipulation? Isn't that a bit extreme? But let me tell you, manipulation can be subtle. It's not always as obvious as someone outright lying or trying to control you. It often creeps in quietly, making you question your own thoughts and decisions without even realizing it. Manipulators are masters at steering situations in their favor. They use your emotions against you, twisting your words and planting seeds of doubt in your mind. Have you ever been in a conversation where you walked away feeling guilty, even though you didn't do anything wrong? That's manipulation at work. They're not just arguing a point. They're reshaping the reality of the situation to make you feel like the problem lies with you. Let's take an example. Imagine you confront someone about their behavior, maybe something they said that hurt you. Instead of addressing your concern, they flip the script. "You're so sensitive. I was just joking. Why can't you take a joke?" Now, instead of focusing on their hurtful behavior, you're suddenly questioning your own feelings. Was it really that big of a deal? Are you overreacting? That's the hallmark of manipulation. They shift the spotlight away from their actions and onto your response. This constant manipulation doesn't just affect the way you see them, it begins to erode the way you see yourself. Over time, you start doubting your instincts, questioning your ability to judge situations, and even suppressing your feelings to avoid another round of their twisted reasoning. And here's the dangerous part. The longer it goes on, the more normalized it becomes. You might even start to believe that their version of events is the truth. But here's where Stoicism comes in to help. As Marcus Aurelius said, "If someone can prove me wrong and show me my mistake, I will gladly change, for I seek the truth, by which no one was ever truly harmed." This is where your strength lies, seeking the truth, even when someone is trying to distort it. Recognizing manipulation is the first step to breaking free from its hold. It's about trusting your instincts and standing firm in your perception of reality. One of the most effective ways to counter manipulation is to stay grounded. When someone tries to twist the narrative, pause. Take a moment to reflect on what's happening. Ask yourself, does this align with my experience of the situation? Am I being fair to myself? By grounding yourself in the truth, you take away their power to confuse or control you. Another key is setting boundaries. Manipulators thrive when there are no limits, so it's crucial to define what you will and won't tolerate. If they attempt to twist your words or make you feel guilty, calmly and firmly call it out. "I'm not okay with the way you're speaking to me. Let's stick to the issue at hand." It's not about escalating the situation, but about asserting your right to be treated with respect. Manipulation is insidious, and its effects can be deeply damaging. But the good news is, once you start recognizing the patterns, you can protect yourself from falling into their traps. Remember, their behavior says more about them than it does about you. You are not the problem, they are. By trusting your instincts, setting boundaries, and staying true to yourself, you reclaim your power and protect your peace. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I trust my instincts. Let me know how manipulation has shown up in your life and how you've overcome it. And don't forget to hit subscribe so you can stay connected to a community focused on growth and empowerment. Stick around, because we're just getting started. The next sign is all about how charm can be used as a mask, something you won't want to miss. Number 2, a mask of charm. Have you ever met someone who seemed almost too perfect? They're charming, charismatic, and seem to know exactly what to say to make you feel special. At first, it feels refreshing, even magnetic. But over time, something starts to feel off. That's the danger of charm when it's used as a mask. Charm, in its purest form, can be a beautiful quality. It's the ability to connect, to make people feel at ease. But for someone with darker intentions, charm isn't just a personality trait. It's a tool, a mask they wear to disarm you, to make you lower your guard so they can get what they want. What's so dangerous about this mask of charm is how convincing it can be. These individuals often come across as the life of the party, the friend who always knows how to make you laugh, or the partner who sweeps you off your feet with grand gestures. But behind the mask is a person who isn't interested in connection. They're interested in control. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine you're getting to know someone new. They're attentive, showering you with compliments and making you feel like the most important person in the room. You feel seen, valued, and maybe even a little swept off your feet. But then, as time goes on, you start to notice inconsistencies. Their words don't match their actions. The charm they once used to build you up is now being used to manipulate you, to excuse bad behavior, or to keep you guessing about where you stand. This is the hallmark of someone using charm as a weapon. It's not genuine connection they're after. It's a way to control the narrative and keep you hooked. And the moment you start to see through the mask, they'll often double down on the charm, doing just enough to pull you back in. It's a cycle that can be hard to break, especially when the charm feels so intoxicating. But here's where Stoicism can help you see through the facade. As Seneca once said, "He who is brave is free." Freedom, in this sense, isn't just about physical independence. It's about emotional clarity. It's about having the courage to look past the surface and see people for who they truly are, not just who they present themselves to be. So how do you spot the difference between genuine charm and a mask? Pay attention to patterns. Genuine charm is consistent. It uplifts without strings attached. A mask of charm, on the other hand, often comes with conditions. It feels transactional, like they're charming you not because they care, but because they want something in return. Another key is to watch how they treat others. Someone who is genuinely kind and charming will show that same respect to everyone, not just the people they think can benefit them. If you notice their charm only comes out when they want something, or if they treat others poorly when they think no one is watching, it's a red flag. And finally, trust your gut. If something feels off, even if you can't quite put it into words, listen to that feeling. Charm can be blinding, but your instincts are often sharper than you realize. The mask of charm is a powerful tool for those who use it, but it's not impenetrable. Once you start recognizing the patterns, you can protect yourself from falling into their web. Remember, charm without integrity is just a disguise, and you deserve relationships that are built on honesty, not illusion. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I see behind the mask. Let me know if you've ever encountered someone who used charm as a tool for manipulation. And don't forget to hit subscribe so you can stay connected to a community that values clarity and empowerment. Stick around, because the next sign is even darker: lies without conscience. You won't want to miss it. Number 3, lies without conscience. Let's talk about one of the most chilling traits of an evil person: their ability to lie without conscience. We've all told little lies at some point, maybe to spare someone's feelings or to get out of an awkward situation. But when someone lies with no regard for the truth, for the harm it causes, or for the people it impacts, it reveals something far more sinister. Lying without conscience isn't just about bending the truth. It's about manipulating reality itself. These individuals don't lie out of fear or necessity. They lie because it benefits them, because it serves their agenda, and because they simply don't care about the damage left in their wake. What's even scarier, they're incredibly good at it. Think about it. A person who lies without conscience often delivers their untruths with confidence and ease. They don't flinch, they don't stammer, and they don't show guilt. In fact, their lies are often so convincing that you start to doubt your own reality. Have you ever confronted someone about something you knew was true, only to walk away questioning yourself because they were so adamant? That's the power of their lies. They're designed to confuse, to control, and to keep you off balance. Let's take an example. Imagine you've noticed inconsistencies in someone's behavior. Maybe they said they were one place, but you know for a fact they weren't. When you bring it up, instead of admitting the truth, they double down. That's ridiculous. You're overthinking things again. Why would you even accuse me of that? Suddenly, you're no longer focusing on the lie. They've shifted the spotlight onto your unreasonable behavior. And just like that, they've escaped accountability. What makes this trait so dangerous is how it erodes trust, not just in them, but in yourself. Over time, constant exposure to lies without conscience can make you feel like you're losing your grip on reality. You start to second-guess your instincts, to doubt your perceptions, and to wonder if maybe you're the problem. This isn't an accident. It's exactly what they want. But here's where you can take back control. Stoicism teaches us to anchor ourselves in truth, even when others try to distort it. As Epictetus said, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. In the face of lies, your power lies in staying calm, staying observant, and refusing to let their untruths define your reality. So how do you deal with someone who lies without conscience? First, recognize the pattern. If you notice consistent inconsistencies in their stories, or if they always seem to have an excuse that conveniently absolves them of responsibility, trust your instincts. Second, don't engage in their web of deceit. Calling out a liar who has no conscience can often lead to more manipulation. Instead, focus on protecting yourself emotionally and mentally. Another key strategy is to rely on facts. Document what you know to be true, whether it's through keeping a journal, saving messages, or simply writing things down. This isn't about preparing for a confrontation. It's about reminding yourself of the truth when their lies start to make you doubt yourself. Finally, set boundaries. If someone is willing to lie without remorse, they're showing you they don't respect the truth or you. It's not your job to fix them or to make them see the harm they're causing. Your responsibility is to yourself, to protect your peace, to surround yourself with honesty, and to walk away from those who refuse to meet that standard. Lies without conscience are not just harmful, they're toxic. They undermine trust, damage relationships, and leave you questioning everything. But by recognizing the signs, staying grounded in your truth, and setting firm boundaries, you can shield yourself from their impact. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I trust the truth. Let me know if you've ever experienced this type of deceit and how you navigated it. And don't forget to hit subscribe so you can stay connected to a community dedicated to clarity and empowerment. Stick around, because in the next section, we're diving into one of the most defining traits of an evil person, the complete lack of empathy. You won't want to miss it. Number 4, lack of empathy. Let's talk about something that's at the very heart of what makes someone truly dangerous. A lack of empathy. Empathy is what connects us as humans. It's the ability to feel another person's pain, to understand their struggles, and to care about how our actions affect others. But for someone who lacks empathy, none of that matters. A person without empathy doesn't just fail to understand your emotions. They don't care about them. They may see your pain, your joy, or your struggles. But instead of feeling moved by them, they remain indifferent, or worse, they exploit them. It's as if there's a wall between them and the emotional world of others, and no amount of reasoning or vulnerability can break it down. Let's look at an example. Imagine you've had a tough day and you open up to someone, sharing your feelings in the hope of finding comfort. Instead of listening or offering support, they dismiss you with something like, "Everyone has problems, you're not special." Or worse, they turn it into an opportunity to talk about their own struggles, completely ignoring yours. This isn't just a lack of tact. It's a sign that they lack the capacity to care about what you're going through. What makes this trait even more harmful is how subtle it can be. At first, you might not notice it. You might tell yourself, Maybe they just didn't know what to say. Or maybe I'm expecting too much. But over time, the pattern becomes clear. No matter how much you share, no matter how vulnerable you allow yourself to be, they never truly meet you with compassion or understanding. And here's where Stoicism offers a lifeline. As Marcus Aurelius said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." Instead of trying to make them feel something they're incapable of feeling, focus on being the person who values empathy in your own life. Surround yourself with people who uplift you, who validate your emotions, and who show genuine care. Dealing with someone who lacks empathy can be emotionally exhausting because it feels like you're shouting into a void. But remember this, their inability to feel for others is a reflection of them, not you. You are not too much. Your feelings are not a burden. You deserve relationships where empathy flows both ways. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I deserve compassion. Let me know if you've ever encountered someone who lacked empathy and how you protected your peace. And don't forget to hit subscribe so we can continue exploring ways to empower and protect ourselves. Next up, we're diving into the hunger for control, a trait that's as dangerous as it sounds. See you there. Number 5, the hunger for control. Let's dive into a trait that's often hidden but incredibly destructive. The hunger for control. At its core, control isn't just about power. It's about domination, about ensuring everything revolves around their needs, their desires, their version of reality. For someone with this hunger, relationships aren't partnerships. They're arenas where they must always come out on top. At first, their need for control might not be obvious. It can even appear caring or attentive. They might say things like, "I just want what's best for you," or "Trust me, I know what I'm doing." But over time, their true intentions become clear. Their advice isn't about helping you, it's about steering you toward choices that benefit them. Their concern isn't genuine, it's a tactic to keep you dependent on them. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine you're planning to take a step towards something important to you. A career change, a move to a new city, or even a new hobby. Instead of supporting you, this person starts planting seeds of doubt. Are you sure you're ready for that? What if it doesn't work out? You should really think this through. At first, it might seem like they're being thoughtful, but as these comments pile up, you realize they're not concerned about your well-being. They're trying to keep you in a position where they have influence over you. This hunger for control doesn't just show up in big decisions. It's in the small things too. They might insist on picking where you eat, controlling your schedule, or even deciding who you spend time with. And if you push back, they often resort to guilt, anger, or even manipulation to get their way. What makes this trait so toxic is how it chips away at your sense of autonomy. The more control they exert, the more you start doubting your own decisions, your instincts, and your ability to navigate life on your own terms. It's like being caught in a web where every move you make feels tangled up in their approval. But here's the thing. Control is an illusion. No one truly has power over another person unless we allow it. And this is where Stoicism offers a powerful perspective. As Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Mastering yourself means reclaiming your autonomy, your thoughts, your choices, your life. So how do you handle someone with a hunger for control? First, recognize it for what it is. Their need to dominate isn't about you. It's about their own insecurities and fears. Second, set firm boundaries. Let them know what you will and won't tolerate, and stick to it. And finally, trust yourself. You're more capable than they want you to believe. And the best way to break free from their control is to trust in your own strength and judgment. The hunger for control is destructive, but it only holds power if you let it. By recognizing the signs, reclaiming your independence, and staying grounded in your truth, you can protect yourself from their influence and live a life that's truly your own. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I reclaim my freedom. Let me know if you've ever faced someone with this insatiable need for control and how you broke free. And don't forget to hit subscribe to stay connected with a community dedicated to empowerment and growth. Stick around, because the next sign reveals a tactic that's all too common: the blame game and deflection. You won't want to miss it. Number 6. Blame games and deflection. Let's talk about a behavior that's as frustrating as it is toxic: blame games and deflection. If you've ever been in a situation where nothing seems to be someone's fault, even when it clearly is, you know exactly what I mean. For someone who thrives on blame games, accountability isn't in their vocabulary. Instead, they masterfully redirect any criticism or responsibility onto someone else, often you. This tactic starts subtly. They may shrug off small mistakes or offer excuses that seem reasonable at first. I was just tired, or you know how stressful things have been. But over time, it escalates. Suddenly, every issue in the relationship, every problem that arises, somehow becomes your fault. They might say things like, "If you hadn't done X, I wouldn't have reacted that way." Or, "You're always so difficult. No wonder this happened." The goal of this behavior is clear: to avoid taking responsibility. By shifting blame onto you or others, they not only protect their image, but also keep you off balance. You're too busy defending yourself to notice the real issue: their unwillingness to own up to their actions. What makes blame games so insidious is the emotional toll they take. Being on the receiving end of constant deflection can make you question your own role in situations. Am I really the problem? Am I being too sensitive? Should I have handled this differently? Over time, these doubts can chip away at your confidence, leaving you feeling unsure of yourself and your instincts. Let's look at an example. Imagine confronting someone about a hurtful comment they made. Instead of acknowledging the impact of their words, they fire back, "Well, maybe I wouldn't have said that if you didn't push me so much." Or worse, they might dismiss your feelings altogether. "You're blowing this out of proportion. Why do you always make a big deal out of nothing?" In both cases, the focus shifts away from their behavior and onto yours, leaving you feeling confused and unsupported. So, how do you handle someone who plays the blame game? The first step is recognizing the pattern. If you notice that conversations always seem to end with you apologizing, even when you were the one raising a concern, it's a red flag. Next, refuse to take the bait. When they try to deflect or shift blame, calmly bring the focus back to the issue at hand. For example, you might say, "I hear what you're saying, but let's focus on how your actions impacted the situation." Mom, this approach keeps the conversation grounded and prevents them from derailing it with deflection. Stoicism offers another powerful tool in these situations: emotional detachment. As Marcus Aurelius wisely noted, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. By refusing to internalize their blame, you reclaim your power. You can acknowledge their perspective without accepting it as truth. And finally, set boundaries. If someone consistently refuses to take responsibility and makes you feel like you're walking on eggshells, it's okay to step back. You're not obligated to stay in a dynamic that erodes your sense of self-worth. Blame games and deflection are about control, not resolution. They're a way to dodge accountability and keep you questioning yourself. But by recognizing the signs, staying grounded in your truth, and holding firm to your boundaries, you can break free from their grip. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I stand in my truth. Let me know if you've experienced someone who constantly deflects blame and how you've handled it. And don't forget to hit subscribe so you can stay connected to a community that values growth and resilience. Stick around, because in the next section, we'll uncover one of the darkest traits, how they find pleasure in causing pain. You won't want to miss it. Number 7. The pleasure of pain. Now, we arrive at one of the most disturbing traits, the pleasure of pain. This is when someone not only causes harm, but seems to take satisfaction in it. It's not just about manipulation, control, or deflection anymore. It's about the enjoyment they derive from seeing others hurt, frustrated, or struggling. And when you encounter someone like this, it can be deeply unsettling. What sets this trait apart is its deliberate nature. While others might hurt you unintentionally or in moments of conflict, someone who takes pleasure in pain does it with intent. They might disguise their actions as a joke or as harmless teasing, but the reality is far darker. Their goal isn't just to win or to assert power, it's to revel in the discomfort they create. Let's paint a picture. Imagine someone who knows exactly what buttons to press to upset you. Maybe it's a comment about something you're insecure about, delivered with a smirk and a dismissive, "I was just kidding. You're so sensitive." Or perhaps it's a subtle dig at your achievements. Something like, "Oh, you must be so proud of that little promotion." On the surface, these remarks might seem minor, but the intention behind them is anything but. For someone like this, the pain they cause gives them a sense of control and superiority. It feeds their ego to see others squirm, to watch as their words or actions chip away at your confidence. And the worst part? They often hide behind the facade of humor or concern, making it even harder for you to call them out without feeling like you're overreacting. So, why do they do it? The truth is, people who find pleasure in pain often have deep insecurities of their own. They project their inner turmoil onto others as a way to feel powerful, to distract themselves from their own struggles, or to fill a void they don't want to confront. But understanding their motivations doesn't make their behavior any less toxic or any less damaging. Here's where Stoicism offers a powerful perspective. As Marcus Aurelius said, "Choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed, and you haven't been." While this doesn't mean you should tolerate their behavior, it does mean you have the power to protect yourself from its emotional impact. You can recognize their actions for what they are, a reflection of their own flaws, and refuse to let them define your worth. The first step in dealing with someone who takes pleasure in pain is recognizing the pattern. If their words or actions consistently leave you feeling belittled or drained, pay attention. Trust your instincts. No one has the right to make you feel small, no matter how much they try to mask it as harmless fun. Next, take back your power by setting boundaries. If they cross the line, call it out. "I don't appreciate comments like that. They're hurtful and unnecessary." You don't need to explain yourself or engage in a debate. Simply stating your boundaries is enough. Finally, know when to walk away. Some people are so entrenched in their behavior that no amount of confrontation or explanation will change them. In those cases, the best thing you can do is remove yourself from their influence and focus on relationships that build you up instead of tearing you down. The pleasure of pain is one of the most toxic traits you can encounter. It erodes trust, damages self-esteem, and creates an environment where growth and connection are impossible. But by recognizing the signs, setting boundaries, and staying grounded in your own strength, you can protect yourself from their harmful influence. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I protect my peace. Let me know if you've ever faced someone who seemed to enjoy causing pain and how you've navigated those situations. And don't forget to hit subscribe so you can stay connected to a community focused on growth and resilience. Stick around, because the next section explores another insidious tactic, using isolation as a weapon. See you there. Number 8. Isolation as a weapon. Let's talk about a tactic that's both subtle and devastating, using isolation as a weapon. Unlike overt manipulation or outright cruelty, isolation often creeps in slowly, making it harder to recognize until it's taken a significant toll. But for someone who wants to control or harm you, cutting you off from your support system is one of their most powerful tools. Isolation doesn't always start with obvious actions, like forbidding you from seeing friends or family. It often begins with small comments or actions designed to create distance. They might criticize your friends, saying things like, "I don't think they really care about you," or "Why do you spend so much time with them when they don't support you?" Or they might subtly disapprove of your family, planting seeds of doubt about the people you trust most. Over time, these remarks can make you second-guess your relationships, and, without realizing it, you start pulling away. But it doesn't stop there. They might also monopolize your time, making it difficult for you to connect with others. They could guilt you for wanting to spend time away, saying things like, "Don't you want to be with me? Why are you always looking for excuses to leave?" On the surface, it might seem like they're just clingy or overly attached, but in reality, their goal is to make themselves the center of your world, leaving you without the emotional or social support you need. What makes isolation so dangerous is the impact it has on your mental and emotional health. Humans are social creatures. We thrive on connection, on feeling understood and supported. When someone cuts you off from those connections, it becomes easier for them to manipulate or control you. Without an outside perspective, their version of reality can start to feel like the only truth, and that's exactly what they want. Here's where Stoicism can provide clarity and strength. As Epictetus said, "We are not disturbed by things, but by the views we take of them." When you recognize isolation for what it is, a tactic meant to control, you can begin to reclaim your perspective and your power. You can remind yourself that healthy relationships encourage connection, not cut you off from it. If you suspect someone is using isolation as a weapon, take action. Reconnect with the people who matter to you, even if it feels difficult at first. Share your experiences with trusted friends or family. They can offer insights and support that help you see the situation more clearly. Most importantly, set boundaries with the person trying to isolate you. Let them know that your relationships with others are important, and you won't allow anyone to interfere with them. Isolation is a weapon of control, but it's not one you have to accept. By recognizing the signs, staying connected to your support system, and standing firm in your boundaries, you can protect yourself from its harmful effects. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I choose connection. Let me know if you've ever faced someone who tried to isolate you and how you broke free. And don't forget to hit subscribe so we can continue building a community that values empowerment and resilience. Stick around, because next, we're diving into jealousy in disguise, a trait that's as sneaky as it is toxic. You won't want to miss it. Number 9. Jealousy in disguise. Jealousy is one of those emotions we've all felt at some point in our lives. But what happens when jealousy doesn't show itself outright? What happens when it's hidden, wrapped in compliments that feel hollow, or disguised as advice that's more critical than helpful? That's the danger of jealousy in disguise. It's subtle, sneaky, and can quietly undermine your confidence if you're not paying attention. Unlike overt jealousy, which is easy to spot, Jealousy in disguise often comes from someone close to you. It might be a friend, a family member, or even a partner who seems supportive on the surface, but finds ways to bring you down. They may not say, "I'm jealous of you," but their actions and words reveal a deeper truth. Maybe it's a dismissive comment about your success, like, "That's great, but let's see how long it lasts," or unsolicited advice that makes you second-guess your achievements. Are you sure you're ready for something like that? It sounds risky. This type of jealousy is dangerous because it often comes from people you trust. You might brush off their comments, thinking they're just trying to look out for you, but over time, these subtle digs can take a toll. They plant seeds of doubt, making you question your abilities and second-guess your decisions. Here's where jealousy in disguise gets even more toxic. It can create a cycle of dependency. The person who's jealous of you might offer to help or guide you, keeping you close so they can maintain some level of control. Their actions may appear caring, but their true motivation is to keep you from fully stepping into your potential. After all, if you succeed, it only highlights their own insecurities. So, how do you deal with this? First, recognize the signs. Pay attention to how their words and actions make you feel. If their comments consistently leave you doubting yourself, it's worth considering whether their support is genuine. Second, trust your instincts. If something feels off, it probably is. You don't need to confront them with accusations of jealousy, but you can choose to set boundaries that protect your confidence and peace. Stoicism offers a powerful perspective here. As Seneca said, "You act like mortals in all that you fear, and like immortals in all that you desire." This reminds us to stay grounded in our goals and not let the fears or insecurities of others hold us back. Their jealousy is a reflection of their inner struggles, not a reflection of your worth. Jealousy in disguise may be subtle, but it's not unbeatable. By recognizing it for what it is, trusting your intuition, and staying focused on your path, you can rise above it and continue moving toward your goals. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I own my success. Let me know if you've ever faced jealousy disguised as support and how you navigated it. And don't forget to hit subscribe to stay connected with a community that values growth and resilience. Stick around, because in the final section, we'll explore one of the most defining traits of an evil person, the unrepentant heart. You won't want to miss it. Number 10. The unrepentant heart. Let's end with one of the most defining traits of an evil person, the unrepentant heart. This isn't just about making mistakes. We all do that. It's about someone who refuses to take responsibility, refuses to change, and refuses to even acknowledge the harm they've caused. It's not that they can't see their wrongdoings, it's that they simply don't care. An unrepentant heart is revealed in how someone handles conflict or accountability. When confronted with their actions, instead of reflecting or apologizing, they often double down. They'll defend their behavior, shift the blame, or worse, act like you're the one being unreasonable for bringing it up. Have you ever heard someone say, "Well, if you hadn't done X, I wouldn't have reacted that way," or "I don't see why you're so upset. It's not a big deal." That's the voice of an unrepentant heart. What makes this trait so damaging is its finality. Someone with an unrepentant heart has no intention of growth. They see relationships as tools for their own benefit, not as spaces for mutual respect and understanding. Apologies, to them, are meaningless because they don't see themselves as capable of fault. And because they never take responsibility, the cycle of harm continues unchecked. This can be incredibly painful for the people around them. It's natural to hope that someone will change, that they'll see the hurt they've caused and choose a better path. But with an unrepentant person, That hope often leads to more disappointment. You find yourself stuck in a loop of forgiving and forgetting, only for the same patterns to repeat. So, what can you do? The first step is acceptance. As much as you might wish for someone to change, that decision lies solely with them. You can't force accountability or growth on someone who doesn't want it. What you can do, however, is protect yourself. Set firm boundaries and decide what behaviors you will and won't tolerate in your life. Stoicism offers a powerful perspective here. As Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. The actions of someone with an unrepentant heart are beyond your control, but your response to them is entirely in your hands. Choose peace over conflict, self-respect over endless apologies, and forward motion over being stuck in their cycle of denial. The unrepentant heart is a heavy truth to face, but it's also a liberating one. It reminds us that we can't change others. We can only choose how we show up for ourselves. By recognizing this trait, you free yourself from the weight of their actions and open the door to relationships built on genuine care, accountability, and mutual growth. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I choose growth. Let me know if you've encountered someone with an unrepentant heart and how you found your strength in the face of their denial. Thank you for watching and spending your time with me today. Remember, recognizing these traits is the first step toward protecting your peace and building healthier connections. If you found value in this video, don't forget to hit subscribe and join our community of growth and resilience. Take care, stay empowered, and I'll see you in the next video.